Namaste, welcome to day 29. Today we are talking about the elephant in the room. The topic that I'm going to talk today is going to be really important for the holistic growth of your kids. So you'll be listening to me talking about stuff very openly, which you may have avoided talking to your kids so far. So please watch this with an open mind because it's important for you to understand things right before teaching the kids about this topic. So let's get started. On day 29, we are talking about sex education. Let's have a quick follow up. Did you call your old friend? I had asked you to call them and talk to them if you have missed being in touch with them. I hope you have done that. And did you tell your sibling that you feel lucky for having him or her? During the sibling bonding day, I had spoken to you about how it's important for us to express so that the other person involved in it will feel happy. So make their day. Do it right now if you haven't done it. Did you start walking with your spouse? I asked you to go on a date with your spouse if possible now and then. If not, at least go for a little walk in the night after dinner or any time that you both can make time for each other. If you can't take out at least 10 to 15 minutes each day for each other, then you're not really putting enough into the relationship. Now, what is sexuality? Sexuality is not just about sex. It's the way one feels about his or her own body. Why talk about it? This is really important to get the kids equipped with information that they need to protect themselves from the outside world. Sexual abuse is such a common thing these days. It's not openly spoken about, but many people or kids have been experiencing it. The trauma, the after effects of the situation is heartbreaking. And more importantly, to be aware of their own body and their sexuality. So we may be worrying about giving too much information for the kids than what they need to know at that age. But it has been found that there is more risk to not telling them enough than telling them more than what they need to know. So it's always better to keep them informed. When does the aspect of sexuality begin? It begins even before birth, right? Because as couples, we'll start dreaming about what gender kid do we want to have? Do we want to have a boy or a girl? They also start shopping for the baby, right? They're going to decide if they want to buy blue, if they want to buy pink, if they want to buy trucks, if they want to buy soft toys. I am against gender biasing, but I'm talking about what happens when the couple get to know that they are expecting. So the aspects of sexuality has already begun, right? And about sex education, who should talk? Like I said, it's the elephant in the room. So we most of the times avoid talking about this topic. The parents will expect the teachers to teach the children at school, and the teachers will expect the parents to be talking about these aspects with children. But it's always important for the parents to take up the step. Like I said, it begins soon after birth or even before birth. So we should take every chance since the child's birth to talk and get the child informed about these concepts. And if both of them come together in doing their part as parents or as teachers to teach the kids about sexuality and about sex education, then there can't be anything better. And when to talk about it? Every opportunity that you get to make the child aware of his body, about sexuality, about anything related to sex education, please go ahead and express in a way that he or she would understand. Age appropriate information. Don't wait for questions. We always wait till the kids come themselves to us and ask questions from what they have heard somebody discussing or whatever doubts they have got. But it's better to start talking about these things even before the kids come to us. Like that, it will be us through whom they'll understand about the concept. Instead of getting wrong information and then coming to you and you having to correct it, it's better to give them right information at the beginning itself, which becomes the parent's duty. How much of information to give out? You decide. You sit with your spouse and decide what are the things that you would want the child to know. How much of it would you want the child to know? And what are the words you would choose to describe to the child about the concept? And how much can the child comprehend? What are the concepts that he can understand? So consider your child's age, his or her understanding, and then decide how much to say. What to teach the kids? First and foremost, teach the right names of genitals. Don't use the words like poopy, bookie. I've heard of people using these alternate names. It's important to call a penis a penis. It's important to call a vulva, a vagina. But give the right names. Because when you're giving alternate names and trying to cover the real names, it is like telling the child indirectly that it's not right to talk about these organs. So, are these organs dirty? When you can teach the kids about eyes, nose, ears, hands, legs, why is that we can't talk about penis or breasts or buttocks? These are the parts that are so important for our body, right? It's a part of us. So let the kids know the right names of all the parts. Exploring the genitals. It is common for the kids to touch themselves, to feel themselves, and especially with the genitals, they are going to be very curious at some phases. Mind your reaction. Sorry, that's a spelling mistake. It's mind your reaction. Don't overreact. Don't yell at the kid for doing it. Don't shout at them. And don't feel embarrassed by it. Instead, at younger age, it's best to distract them. And even after distraction, if they continue fiddling with their genitals, there may be a message for you. The child may be under stress, or the child may be feeling insecure, or the child might have gone through sexual abuse. So don't ignore this. Try to understand what is happening. Answer their questions. When they ask you questions, it is important for you to give them the answers. Don't wait for puberty to start talking about sexual aspects. So, what does the child know already? When the child asks a question, try to listen from the child as to what he or she already knows. Give the simplest info. With whatever question the child has asked you, see what is the simplest form of information you can give the child. And explain only if they ask you again for an explanation. Most of the time, they'll be okay with what you're saying. Sometimes they may ask you questions that you're not ready to answer. You can be frank and say, maybe we'll have to wait a little more time to talk about it. But you'll surely tell the child about it when it is the right age or right time for the child. If you don't know the answer, or if you don't know how to tell the child about this at that moment, tell the child the same thing, that you're not sure how to answer it and you would need some time to figure out and come back to you. And make sure that you figure out and go back to the child, so then the child will trust you. He or she will know that when you say something, you shall do it. Don't be embarrassed by their questions, because then this will make them feel that sex is dirty. Now let's talk about sexual abuse. It's important for us to teach the kids about the boundaries with strangers. Who are the strangers? People that we do not know, that we don't come in contact with regularly, or someone you're meeting for the first time. And how do we have boundaries with them? We do not go and sit on their lap. We do not go with them anywhere. Even if they say that your mother is calling, your father is calling, you would not go anywhere with them. What can we do in these situations? We need to tell the child about a password. When somebody comes and tells the child that the mother or father is calling him, the child has to ask the stranger for the password. This is something the parents and the kids would have discussed already. This is the passcode that we use to make sure that we are safe. When somebody claims to be sent by the parents, the child needs to ask them for this password. The password can be any simple thing like numbers or number mixed with letters, whatever you think your child can remember. And tell the child it's a top secret. Only the kids and parents will know the password. I remember a story when I was a kid, maybe I was in third or fourth standard, and my mother had spoken to me about the dangers of going out with unknown guys. So she had told me that only if my grandfather or my father comes to pick me up from school, I can come with them. Otherwise, I would walk back home from school. We had a neighbor whose family was very close to our family, so close that we were almost like family. So once the uncle from the neighbor house was coming close to my school for some work, so he asked my mother if he should pick me up. My mother told him that I would not come with him, as she had just told me about how not to go with anyone. But he was not convinced, because as we were very close, he thought with him I would come. My mother trusted me so much that she asked him not to feel bad if I didn't come with him, but to try. And as I was walking back from school, he stopped in front of me and asked me to get into the vehicle. I said I was okay walking and I would not go with him. He insisted again, saying that he has asked my mother and it would be fine for me to go with him. I did not want to hurt him. So I said that I would prefer walking as it is good for my health. And I said I would walk and I thanked him for offering. So I walked back home. And there I saw my mother standing waiting for me with a big smile on her face, and I could see how proud she felt. So it's important for us to put the message across to our kids in such a way that they understand. We also need to tell them why we are saying this. What are the things that can happen if we are not being safe? And what are the limits with family members? It's important to tell the child that only the mother and father can touch the genitals of the child. Even family members other than the father and mother, or whoever you think to be safe, cannot touch the private parts of the kid. This is important because most of the sexual abuses happen within the family. It is important to teach the child about good touch and bad touch. I've shared a picture here. So, what are the parts that are not allowed to be touched by others? Mainly the mouth, the chest area, the genitals, and between the legs, the inner thighs. So, how does one understand this? The child may feel confused if somebody is trying to touch in a wrong place, or he or she may feel unsafe, or he or she may feel uncomfortable. So, it's important to explain these things to the kids. Initially, I asked you to teach the kids the right name for genitals. Why did I say this? I have a story to share with you. I had read this long back, I do not remember the source, but this is how it goes. The mother has not taught her little girl the right name for vagina, and the child has gone through sexual abuse from a close family member. This person has realized that the child does not know the right name for the vagina, and he has given another name to the vagina. He has called it purse. So when the child has felt uncomfortable with his touch, the child has gone to the mother to tell that the uncle touches her purse and she does not like it. And guess what the reaction of the mother was? She said, "It's your uncle, right? What happens if he touches your purse? It's okay. Don't cry about such silly things." Imagine what the child would have gone through. The mother thought the child is talking about the purse, but in fact, it was the vagina that the child was talking about. Don't you think it would have been better for the child to know the right name so that she could come and use the same name and tell the mother about it? So, if your kids are using new names for the genitals, it could be a signal for you. Later, after they found out what had been happening, the mother felt very guilty for what she had let the child go through. And for the child, it was devastating because the mother said it was okay for the uncle to do whatever he was doing with her. There are many stories like this on internet as to how the kids are being abused and how most of the times it's the family member doing it. So be careful of whom you trust. I'm not asking you to be in the mode of fear all the time, but to educate the child about this and to be aware of these things becomes our responsibility. Teach to say no. When somebody touches them in a wrong place, which they are not comfortable with, they need to tell a straight no to them. Don't touch me here. I do not like it. If you touch me, I am going to tell my parents about it. Or teach the kid to scream. I had been observing that a close family member was trying to always irritate Samudra by cuddling or hugging or kissing him when he was clearly not okay with it. I had tried telling her many times not to do that, but she would just not understand. One day, she was trying to do the same thing, and Samudra came to me crying that she is doing that and he does not like it. She came to me and she told me that I should teach him the right lesson and tell him to let her do that to him. I held Samudra and I said, "Samu, no one has the rights to touch you when you do not like it. Even when Mama wants to come and kiss you, if you say a no, I would not do it." It might have offended her, but I was fed up of telling her in a nice way, and this was exactly what she had to hear and my son had to hear. And if something like this happens, if the child goes through a bad experience, make sure that you let the kid know that it's not the child's mistake. And tell the child that you are there for her or his support and we shall overcome this. And always tell the child that it is safe to inform, to talk to parents about their secrets. Like I said, if an unpleasant situation has already happened, The first thing that we need to concentrate on is making the child feel better, is helping the child come out of this trauma. See what you can do as a parent to bring the child to a safe place, to remove the person from her or his life who has created the sexual abuse, to complain about them or to do whatever. But the child's protection becomes most important now, to help her come out of this trauma. And if you're not able to do it on yourself, please look for professional help as early as possible, because these experiences can change the way the kids look at themselves. So it is important for us to correct it and avoid further damage, and to be able to get the child emotionally back into stability. So this is a very sensitive topic, and most of the times we think, oh, this can't happen to us, but it's always good to be cautious. Ask yourself this question: have you experienced any form of sexual abuse when you were a child? Because research says 70% of the people would have experienced child sexual abuse. So let's take responsibility of protecting our kids from this. Puberty. How to get the kids ready for this stage? We need to talk to them about how natural it is to go through this phase and inform them about both sex. What are the changes that will happen in a male's body? What are the changes that will happen in a female's body? They should be able to celebrate the changes. As it is normal, it's a phase that the body is going through to prepare our body for reproduction. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. Accepting the differences. Not every person is same. So we need to give them the strength to accept their body the way they are. There are a lot of expectations as to how a perfect woman should be and how a perfect man should be. We need to let them know that not everyone is same, and we should be able to accept our body the way we are. And the fact that it is safe to explore your body, it is in fact important for us to explore our body. We have been shut off from understanding our body so much and not touching ourselves that most people don't even know what parts they have down there. There are girls who still think that the urine and the period flow will happen through the same opening. So if you find your kids exploring themselves or masturbating, don't feel disgusted about it, but talk to them about privacy, how it is important for them to do it within their rooms. Responsibility. We need to teach them about the values of life, what is allowed, what is not allowed, how it is not right to touch others without their permission or consent, and what are their limits, what can they do, what can they not do. And these are the answers you have to get out of them. It would be better for you to get from them as to what would be right and wrong than to simply state it for them. And talk about their safety, about date rape, about unwanted pregnancy, about sexually transmitted diseases, and get them prepared. This is where the responsibility comes to. And remember to trust them. Tell them that you trust them and you know that they will not cross their limits. Like this, they feel more responsible to keep up your trust. And some more about it. This is one major question the kids ask us. How are babies born? Like I said, it's important for us to decide how much the baby should know. Don't give them wrong answers. Let me tell you my story. When I was a child, I always wanted sisters. I was 4+ years and I was a single child. I was so tired of asking my parents for a sister that once I went to my mother and asked her, how is a baby made? It surely shocked her. And at that moment, she told me that people who are only married, this she stressed upon, okay, make dolls out of mud or clay and they swallow it. And once they swallow it, it goes to the stomach and the god is going to do some magic. And this doll will turn out to be a bead doll. So she showed a doll made of beads and she said that's how it will become. And then slowly it will start getting life and it will become like you. I loved babies and I was so interested in having my own baby that I decided to have one for myself. But like my mother had told, I needed to get married now. So during a pretend play, I sat with a friend and told my other friend to be the pujari and get us married. So according to me, the pretend play was real and we were married. I made a little doll of mud and I ate it up. And the next step, I started praying to God to give life to this little baby inside me. I kept waiting and I kept waiting and I kept waiting and I never got the baby. Later, when I grew up and I told this story to my mother, she was utterly shocked. So make sure you tell the right things to your kids and to inform them that this happens between the adults. We also need to talk about IVF, surrogacy, or adoption. We need to tell them that it's okay for someone to decide not to have their own child and to adopt. And if someone has a problem conceiving, it's okay to choose methods like IVF or surrogacy. So like this, we are being more inclusive of all kind of people without judging them for their situations and their decisions. And it's important to talk about sexual minorities, about homosexuals, to tell that it is normal. So if one day your child feels different about her sexual orientation, the child should have the courage to come up to you and talk about it. Or the child may be able to help others, his peers, or whoever it is who is going through this phase. So you are empowering the child to face her own life situation and also help others who may be in need. So today's task, guys, teach your kids the real name of genitals. Penis, vagina, buttock, breast, or it's okay if you want to teach them this in your regional language too, whatever language, but the right names. Talk to them about good touch and bad touch and play a game. Ask them to imagine that you're a stranger and let them tell if it is a good touch or bad touch when you touch different parts of their body. And then come to the group and say, I take responsibility of educating my child about sexuality. So that's it for today, guys. If you have more questions regarding this topic, we can discuss it in our next question and answer live session. Have an amazing day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, take care.